And now, Pujya Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda commences tonight's satsang with his Sanskrit peace chant.
Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We begin with mystic song by Sri Swami Lalitananda, played and sung by Sri Swami Umananda and Rajneesh.
Our song tonight is based on a poem by Swamiji. It's called O Krishna. O Krishna, may I dream of you dancing with me on the grassy banks of the Yamuna River. O Krishna, abide in my deepest thoughts and unspoken feelings, singing the melody of eternity. May my soul merge with you. May my waking hours be filled with the sweetness of your being. May my life flow on like the Yamuna River, sparkling with your smile, merging with your divine love. In the depths of my heart, O Krishna, may I ever abide with you. We are recording from the ashram of our revered Guru, Pujya Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda in Miami, Florida. Today is November the 10th, 2020, Tuesday evening, and tonight Swamiji will be lecturing on the Yoga Vasistha. This is series 2018, class number 287. And now Pujya Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda.
Om Brahmanandam Param Sukadam Kevalam Jnana Murtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamashyadi Lakshyam Ekam Nityam Vimalam Achalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Om. Adorations to Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme preceptor. Yoga Vasistha in Nirvana Prakarana Purvardha, section 29 continues, leading to insight into Para Puja, the highest form of worship. Human life is a strange predicament, as if everyone is in a in a warship. So in this type of worship keeps you relaxed. And enables you not to stay in the ship. That warship, another name for it is ahamkar ship. The ship of egoism. In a storyline, Sage Vasistha sought guidance from Lord Shiva himself. And at this stage, Lord Shiva is giving profound insight into Parapuja, the highest form of worship, to Sage Vasistha. While it is happening secretly, all of you are sneaking into it. That's the role of satsanga. No privacy. O sage, when enlightened sages are not immersed in samadhi, they are seen engaged in worshipping deities with forms. They do so merely in the spirit of sport. They do not seek any perishable enjoyment as a result of their worship. Subtle points. Most people, when they worship, firstly, they are as if forced to worship. They face such challenging situations that they have no help, no support. And God seems to be the only one. And when the trouble is over, who cares for God? That's most people. Of course, even moster than most. People who don't have any God at all, no belief. But those who are spiritually sensitive, their worship is of a totally different type. They are worshipping God, and when it's dramatized by many episodes, when God does appear, they simply bow down to God and say, "Do as you will, O God." God asks, "What boon should I give to you?" And they say, I am dumb. What am I to ask? Please give me what is best for him. In other words, they surrender to God. And that's an advanced form of worship. And still in the storyline, the deity insists that you worshipped me and I have come before you. Say something. Then they ask for certain boons to enable them to do good to others. And they ask it in the spirit of fun. Understand, they didn't need it. They are just instrument in divine hand. In other words, all the great things done by advanced souls, sages and saints, they are done with utter humility. And they are all the time, they are aware that it is not their ego, but God has channeled their personality. So therefore, they express their desire to God in the spirit of sport. And their desire that they have is how to promote well-being for all. Sarve bhavantu sukhina. Atman, or the self, is the God of all gods. He is endowed with all divine attributes. He is the supreme cause of all that is created. He is to be constantly adored with the sacred materials in the form of knowledge and its various expressions. Knowledge and various expressions, they imply all Daivi Sampats. Greater is your knowledge. Who am I? And then again, it's not intellectual knowledge. Your deeper awareness that you are connected, your essential nature is Brahman. And that connection or that type of revelation is a progressive movement. As you are progressing towards it, all those great qualities, humility, absence of vanity, straightforwardness, forgiveness, non-violence, absence of greed, generosity, compassion, and all Daivi Sampats, they begin to express through the personality of a sage. And they are as if divine flowers, they are being offered to God. Atman, or the self, is the God of all gods. And again, this attitude of seeing God in so many forms, that's a mediocre state of worship. But each state of worship has its own importance. Everyone grows up, starting from a child state, kindergarten, then growing up state, then little more adult state, until you go to Vanaprastha. Now, for profounder form of worship, whosoever is your Ishta, focus your mind on your Ishta Devata. But Ishta Devata is, in reality, Brahman, the Absolute. Whatever name you give to the Ishta Devata, Rama, Krishna, through that Devata you are turning your mind to the Absolute Truth. So if Rama is your Ishta Devata, Rama is your Absolute Truth. Krishna is your Absolute Truth. Krishna is your Ishta Devata. So whatever Ishta Devata you have, understand he is all inclusive. All Devatas and Devis are being represented by your Ishta Devata. And if you are worshipping those deities, you are completely in harmony with your Ishta Devata, as long as you know that they are nothing but different aspects of the same divine self. And that Ishta Devata is endowed with all divine attributes. Studies Sahasranam, 1,000 names of Vishnu, 1,000 names of Rama, and so forth. 1,000 names mean one name doesn't give you all the glorious attributes of God. So you go on after attribute, allowing your mind to be drenched with divine glory. He is the supreme cause of all that is created. He is to be constantly adored with the sacred materials in the form of knowledge and its expressions. So knowledge and its expressions are Daivi Sampat. The more you are developing humility instead of egoism, you are gaining an insight that the real I am is not your ego. And that's the real knowledge. Real knowledge is that explores your identity and leads you from fictitious identity to your essential reality. That's knowledge. And while you are gaining knowledge, all divine attributes begin to blossom in your personality. The Jiva is essentially Brahman. This recognition is the highest form of divine worship. Anything other than this is limited and illusory. The worship of the self is a real worship. The worship of the self, in order to be real and dynamic, implies worship of Brahman, the Absolute. That worship term again is allegorical. Inquiry into who am I, and the revelation I am Brahman. Sage Vasistha asked, O Lord, how can this world be recognized as the self? How does this luminous self assume the role of the limited jiva? Please be gracious and explain these points to me. Vasistha wants more more light to be flashed over these truths. Worshipping the self, bringing more light implies getting more understanding. More understanding means, first, in your worship you always think of going to a pilgrimage center, finding a temple, and even prior to that have a good plan to find a temple that has good stories associated with the temple. If possible, some footprints of sages, saints, and why not of Krishna and Rama. I'm giving you just elaborate extension. Advanced worship, why have you to run around? Devo devalayo prokto. Your body itself is the greatest of all temples, most practical for you than any other temple. So consider your body as a temple of God. Jivo Devah Sanatana. And discover the very soul in you is God, God's expression. Just like a reflected sun in a jar of water. The reflected sun is nothing but the sun. The jiva in you, the awareness, consciousness that expresses in the form of this is my body, this is me, this is mine. These are all magical work of consciousness. That consciousness is Brahman. So where are you looking for the highest God? If you say how distant God must be from me, the fact is you can't even breathe without God being the source. Even your asking the question is a miracle that you want to have the resolution to your problem. In other words, even the function of your mind is not handled by your ego, is sourced by God's presence. In brief, turning your attention to the sacredness of your personality. Being in your personality with a spirit of surrender to God and with a sense of experiencing thrill, inspiration, not waiting for a black future, but waiting for future brighter and brighter. All that is there at every moment. So which pilgrimage center you want to go to? The greatest pilgrimage center is there right in your personality. The Ganges flows right in your bathtub. Cascading waters of grace come from your shower. Because this is not your shower. All these are creation of God. Lord Shiva replied, pure consciousness, wherein the world of objectivity is utterly negated. That consciousness alone exists as the only reality. Pure consciousness, known as Chaitanya, Chit. Extended name is Satchit Ananda, existence, consciousness and bliss. That pure consciousness is the absolute reality. Where do you want to look for your consciousness? You are always, whatever you are looking for is backed up by consciousness. And that consciousness, which is handling countless thoughts, imaginations, the world of your experience, is very in the same way as a screen handles countless projections, or as a lake handles countless reflections. Look into the lake, calm lake, but then you are looking at so many things in the lake. All those things are Maya. Lake alone is real. All things you are aware of in terms of seer, seen and sight. Think of the dream. The subject is illusory. The dream world is illusion. Experiences are illusory. All that is being projected on the screen of pure consciousness. While lost in seeing your drama, cinema show, lost in it, now be aware that it is a passing phenomenon. Reality is pure consciousness, the screen. Reflections are not the reality. All that you think, imagine, remember, count upon, they are all based on mental vrittis, thought waves of your mind. Thought waves are creating the drama of your world process every moment. But the reality behind the thought waves is pure consciousness. And that pure consciousness is not changing. Projections are creating illusions. Screen is ever the same. That revelation, I am that screen, pure consciousness, not all these world of triad, seer, seen and sight, vast universe, vast world process. No matter how vast, all this is illusory. This is the ideal nature of divine worship, para-puja. And this para-puja should be the intention behind your apara-puja. Apara-puja is not being negated. Go to your puja room, turn to your deity, use the stotras, recite your mala, but allow your needed problems to be resolved. Pray wholeheartedly according to your need, but at a deeper level, become more and more wiser that all that you are doing is a project in the project of attaining liberation. All that you are doing, you are seeking strength and insight, and so that you can become a channel in divine hands. That you became channel in divine hands, that also is allegorical statement. It leads you to realize you are Brahman, you are the absolute self. Every reflected sun is really the sun. There's no problem in that. The world emanates from the self as a result of Maya. Just as rays proceed from the sun or the moon or fire, in the same manner, the world proceeds from Brahman. Remember that statement of Hanuman, how am I related to you? Rama asks. Deha buddhyatu dasoham. From point of the body, I am a slave. I am just an instrument in divine hand. Jiva buddhya tvadanshaka. But from the point of view of being a soul, I am a ray and you are the sun. And from absolute point of view, I and you are one and the same. This is the whole picture of beginning of the worship and the end of your worship. You are no longer in the worship. This project of worship is highlighted by spiritual inquiry. By the practice of spiritual inquiry, see, if worship and devotion doesn't inspire you to know who you are, your worship is very limited. You are fulfilled only to see your ego's expectation fulfilled. Satisfying your ego is not real goal. However, ego plays its role, so satisfy it only so that it can stay calm and can sneak out of your ego and get into the insight that ego is not you. Don't tell your ego. That's what you do when you go to sleep. You don't tell your ego. You simply slip away into sleep. By the practice of spiritual inquiry, one recognizes the illusory nature of this world. Then, when the world is negated by pure intellect, one sees nothing but the Supreme Self as the only reality. When you explore into the inquiry, who am I? And continue to discover you are beyond the three bodies, beyond the five sheaths. You are not the physical body, you are not the prana, not the mind and senses, not intellect and ego. Then who you are? You are absolute self. This world appears like a world in a dream. It is devoid of reality. How can one pure consciousness, which is infinite and eternal, permit itself to be modified into a world of multiplicity? You see the countless stars reflecting in a calm lake. But how can the lake contain all that? In other words, all that is just reflection, not reality. It is the self that appears as a mountain. It is the self that appears as the sky. Now come to a state of affirmation. With that type of spiritual sensitivity, when you have practiced meditation and followed inquiry, then let your mind have a little entertaining state. You are looking at a beautiful mountain. I am the mountain. The sun rising. I am the sun. Sweet breeze blowing. I am this breeze. Instead of things being objects, they are you. You are interested in your body. You look at your nails, I have the nails. Look at your nose, I have the nose. So, from that identity to whole universe identity. And through many exercises in yoga, like Yoga Nidra, you are introduced to that process. And it is important, typical exercise in Jnana Yoga, practice of affirmation, calming the mind, and then bringing the higher insights, and not waiting for it being how to pursue it, but simply assert, I am that. So it is the self that appears as a mountain. It is the self that appears as the sky, as the world process, as the numerous beings that abide in the world. Look at people. They are always seen other than you. Instead, all that you see is you. But make this more comfortable. All the good that you see in people is you. All the bad you see in people is short-circuited energy. Even that is not really bad. It needs to be corrected. But you are not you in a short-circuited stage. You are far from the people's anger, hate, greed, etc. But even that energy of anger, greed, etc. is coming from the same source, I am. Objects in dream are nothing but illusory modifications of consciousness of the waking individual. The illustration is being given. What do you experience in your dream? The dream experience is similar to the experience in the world. And everything in your dream is unreal, illusory. Now, when you gain insight and you begin to view your dream as illusory, come to another stage of a humorous state of mind, that everything that you are seeing in your dream is yourself. To see a roach, I am the roach. See a swan soaring, I am the swan. So even negative things that you are seeing, they are a kind of comedy for your experience. And if you get addicted to that type of thinking, I'm joking, if that becomes a spontaneous in your daily life, this I'm putting very advanced idea, but progressively you come to that goal. And as it becomes real for you, then while living your life, facing challenges, inwardly you are not shaken from your rootedness in Brahman, sthita prajna state. Inner life, inner identity doesn't need anything of this world. Apparent identity, of course, is always in the world of turmoil. But for you, this world is not a turmoil at all. If you are moving towards the advanced state. Brahman is the reality behind objects that are present as well as objects that are absent. In your dream, you see people coming, dear people coming to meet you. You see them depart. They were present, that they are absent. But whether they are present or absent in your dream, you are simply relaxed on your bed. Nothing is real. So if you could see your dream as well as your reality, practical reality, at the same time, that will give you an idea of what's called a double consciousness. But if you are trapped in dream without any insight that you are beyond dream, then that's the picture of misery. Now, stretch your understanding. When you are thinking of history and you are turning your mind to how things were millions of years ago, and how explorers have gone there to find things that point to happenings through a course of time. Think of the mind working that way. Think of the mind working whatsoever the historians tell you about things that were millions of years ago. I am. All the past, I am. And whatever the people are thinking about how the future is going to be, I am. Not even a particle of dust is different from me. Aham Brahmasmi is all inclusive. When you wake up from your dream, you don't leave anything of the dream. Your entire dream gets assimilated in your consciousness. Understand, the entire world, of all its story of past, present and future, and all the experiences of the world that get into different sentiments, lot of horror, lot of humor, and lot of rumor, a lot of calamity. Behind all that, I am. I am all this. So just like there is no problem in understanding that all that you experienced in your dream was nothing but you, allow the same understanding go to a higher level. The entire world, all the world that you imagine is nothing but I am, absolute self, Brahman. That I am is ever unshaken. Brahman is the reality behind space, time, and all objects. The effort to recognize the self as the underlying reality, the vow to discover the innermost self as the supreme being. This is in fact the highest form of worship of the divinity. What's the highest form of worship? Your effort to recognize who am I. If your movement to revelation of I awareness is restricted, your worship is dull. If worship does not connect, give you that subtle aspiration, and in that aspiration lies a lot of inspiration. If your worship does not promote that, that worship is in a limited level. Limited level, however, from the point of view of not having any worship is much better. Better between a worship than just floating in the ocean. Now, therefore, when you realize this is the ideal picture of worship, to develop aspiration to recognize the self. This is the highest form of darshan. And then, once you have recognized it, you create a vow in yourself, sankalpa. May I live to attain God realization. May I live to attain self-realization. And that becomes your deep-rooted resolve. All other resolves, they come and go. A tree can have lots of things, even leaves that fall and come new leaves and so forth. Every desire is a kind of resolve, sankalpa. But we are not talking about worldly resolves, which are practical. They are not being contradicted. But deep down resolve, may I attain self-realization. That resolve should become a profound source of inspiration and a strength in your personality. This theme is further extended. Section 30, the mystic art of worshipping the Supreme Self. Lord Shiva continued, O sage, this entire universe is a manifestation of the Divine Self. Siya Ram Mai Sab Jag Jani. The entire world is nothing but Sita and Rama. Following the same line of thinking, entire world nothing but Brahman. Brahman is the underlying substratum of all names and forms. Therefore, in a way, you become worshipper of every name and form. All names and forms, behind that, God is shining. And therefore your field of inspiration for mind has no limits. Otherwise your inspiration comes only when you go to a certain special places. A special temple gives you some inspiration. Special river then gives you some another type of sacred view. If you are very advanced, every name and form, negative or positive, your deeper insight sees nothing but God behind it, Brahman behind it. And that Brahman is your I am. Brahman is described as Param Akash, supreme ether. Akash term is helping you to understand expansion. Every soul wants to experience expansion. And expansion requires a spaciousness. And a spaciousness comes from Akasha, space. The space is of three types. Physical space that contains physical objects. Mental space called Chittakash. Bhutakash, physical space. Chittakash, mental space that allows so many thoughts and feelings to enter, give a space to so many thoughts and feelings. And behind all that is absolute Akash. That's called Chidakash, Chaitanya Akash, pure consciousness. If you worship a limited God, you will receive a limited reward. If you worship the Supreme Divinity, you will attain supreme blessedness in the form of liberation. It is by worshipping the Supreme Self that a person can attain supreme bliss, which is without beginning and without end. This is the goal of life, which is indivisible. Everything that you attain is transient in this world. But attaining Brahman, implying a revelation, I am Brahman. Just like waking up from your dream. And all that you dreamt was nothing but you. That Brahman is indivisible, does not depend upon external means for its attainment. If you want to take tea, you need certain recipes. You need means to have the goal. But not so with Brahman. Brahman is the essential reality. He is not a product of ingredients. I'm giving you a very ordinary way to understand. In other words, Brahman is not created by your karma. So this is not a fruit of karma. It is a result of jnana. And jnana is a revelation movement. And with this I'm going to conclude. Om Ram 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 Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om. Prayer for shower of Karunamaya Ras grace over all, and the blessings of Shakti, Bhakti and Mukti. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukmuva Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshiyamamritat. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat.
Are there any questions? Okay, and we conclude. Swamiji will join tomorrow night, Wednesday, at 7:30.